What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Miguel EDC, the channel where we talk everything EDC gear here. Today we're going to be taking a look at this wonderful EDC knife right here, the Kunwu Django. And yes, Django is the right way to pronounce this word because for whatever reason, right, I kept calling it the Django during the unboxing, but yeah, clearly I don't know what the heck I was thinking. Django is the name of this knife from Kunwu. We already looked at the chat, and by the way, the unboxing, and by the time you see this review, also the review for the Kunwu chat will be available in the channel. What a knife, what a knife. Super impressed with the chat being my first knife that I checked from Kunwu, and this is my second knife from Kunwu that I got a chance to check, and man, oh man, have I really been impressed with Kunwu. Honestly, they do a really good job. The general consensus in the EDC community is that Kunwu is just killing it. They are knocking it out of the park with their knives. They bring some of the best value, premium materials and such for the money. And yeah, that is a fact. That is the truth. Just been checking out two of their models so far, the Chat and the Django here. Man, oh man, are they really doing a killer job. So first things first, this knife comes to me via the Lefty EDC knife pass around. So shout out to Kevin for the opportunity to borrow this one and make this wonderful content for you guys. Check out his channel and subscribe to him if you aren't already. Also, this knife and any other knife you see in this video will be linked down below. Those affiliate links do help out the channel if you end up buying a knife through them. Again, at no extra cost to you. And of course, that is entirely up to you, but will be greatly appreciated if and when you do. Let's get things going here with a quick measurement. All right, let's see here. This guy comes in at a total overall length of 7.7, 7.65, somewhere in there, overall length. The blade is going to be a little bit more on the 3.1, 3.2. That's as far as the cutting edge, right? The actual blade is a little bit more like 3.25. The handle is a little bit on the close to 4.5, right? 4.5 on the overall handle length right there. So let's do some quick comparisons on this guy. I really wish I had the chat here, right here in front of me, but I did end up obviously passing that one forward as part of the knife pass around. Let's do the typical comparisons here. The PM2, the Para 3, right? Check it out right there. It's a little bit more longer, well, definitely longer than the Para 3, but shorter than the PM2. Here's the Demko AD 20.5 on the shark's foot blade. This one's also rocking Demko's own version of their diamond titanium, which looks wonderful. By the way, I just unboxed this knife in the channel. This one's my own, one of my grails for the longest time. So if you haven't seen the unboxing on this guy, definitely check it out. But yeah, pretty much a little bit shorter than the Django. Here is the Shark Cub, which is also a little bit shorter than the AD 20.5. All right, you guys be the judge there. We'll come back to this diamond pattern here in a bit. Here's the Rat Model 1 and the Rat Model 2 from Ontario. Yeah, definitely a little bit bigger than the Rat 2, but shorter than the Rat 1. And last but not least, here's a very popular CJRB Pyrite Alt button lock. And here is the Vosteed Raccoon crossbar lock. So pretty comparable, if anything, closer to the Raccoon, whereas the Pyrite is just a tad bit shorter. So it will be definitely on that medium size, closer to the large size of knives, if anything. So again, this is just for reference. Now, when I first got this knife, I did want to just share this with you all. When I first got this knife, I was wondering, where have I seen this blade before? And of course, it's a pretty common blade. I'm not saying that anybody copied anybody because these blade shapes have been around for forever, pretty much. But basically, the Civivi Ortis, right, which I've had for a long time now, had some similar lines. So that's why I was like, wait a second. The design here, the blade is about the same. Obviously, in the Ortis, it's a little bit narrower, but pretty much the same lines on there. The Ortis even has the finger choil, even has the swedge right here on the blade. Obviously, it doesn't have the fuller, and it has a different blade cutout hole. But I mean, other than that, the lines are about the same. You do have a flat grind on the Django, whereas on the Ortis you have a hollow grind. But yeah, just something that I noticed too, pretty much. And I was like, man, something about this blade. There's a reason why I like this blade shape so much. And that was the original reason why I picked up the Ortis back in the day, right? Something about this clip point version of this blade looks amazing. Now, me personally, I like Wharncliffe blades more, but if I really went with my gut, then all my knives will be Wharncliffe and sheepsfoot. So I obviously like a different blade shape for a change. And this one, man, is gorgeous, just beautiful. So we have materials here. We have Elmax steel, right, with the satin finish. on this one looks really, really good. By the way, the HRC on this thing is right on the money. It's about 60 to 62. It is displayed on Kunwu's website, and they really do a good job with their HRC. This thing comes super, super sharp out of the box. And if you haven't seen Lefty's unboxing, that video will show you how sharp this is, since this knife right here that you're seeing on this video is the same knife that he unboxed in his channel. It actually bit him in the pinky on the way down. So if you want to see how sharp this is, yeah, this guy right here, this very knife bit him in the pinky. So check out Lefty's unboxing on this knife if you haven't already. But yes, L-Max is amazing. You know, this thing looks nice and polished, right? Really easy to clean off. I like the little fuller going on here, which looks nice. Again, you have a switch going on. Right here on the clip section, you have a triangle cloth hanger, triangle shape opening hole here, which is good. Perfect for that reverse flick thumb deployment, which, by the way, those are the deployment options here. You can deploy with the actual crossbar. This is a crossbar mechanism after all. You could deploy with your thumb, and you could do the reverse flick, which is probably my favorite. Boom. Check that out. That is awesome. Now, the cream of the crop here, the creme de la creme, is this beautiful titanium milling diamond pattern going on. I am a sucker, right? And I'm going to say that proudly. I am a sucker for pattern handles. Any knife handle that has a pattern to it, continuous patterns, I love. And the titanium diamond pattern right here is just gorgeous. It is really, really nice. And I did a comparison short video looking at the diamond pattern on the Demko AD 20.5, which for me, it kind of goes side to side, whereas in the Kunwu, it goes up and down. And there you have them side by side. Let me know in the comments, which one do you like more? Do you like Demko's version of the diamond pattern? Do you like Kunwu's version of the diamond pattern? Me personally, I love both of them. Love them both. And diamond patterns, titanium handles have become one of my favorites. And that's why I, been really looking forward to picking up this guy for a long, long time. And Kunwu, I mean, if you looked at the chat video, the unboxing, the review video on the chat has the same diamond pattern, which I feel does really, really good. It has a good balance between grip, right? It's not crazy aggressive, but it wouldn't be as slippery as a plain titanium handle. It gives it a good amount of personality, in my opinion, and I love that. I love that a ton. Do a quick carry profile here. Thickness against the PM2. It's a little bit thicker than the PM2, and therefore the Para 3. Thickness next to the Demko AD 20.5 is going to be a little thicker. What about the Wrap Model 1? Pretty comparable to the Wrap Model 1. What about length and height in the pocket? Well, you do have a significant portion of the blade sticking out. So next to, let's say, a PM2, still going to be a little less, I think. Next to something like the Demko AD 20.5, still a little bit less than those two, right? The actual length right there, pretty close to the Demko AD 20.5. It's a little bit more, yeah, a little bit more than you would see on the Wrap Model 1, and more than you would see on the Vosteed Raccoon or the CJRB Pyrite. So blade stock thickness on this bad boy, we're working with 0.12, and let's just reset it to be on the safe side. 0.12 is pretty standard. A lot of knives that we see here in the channel are 0.12 thickness on the blade. The handles are going to be 0.51, which is not bad at all. Considering the fact you have a diamond pattern on here, 0.52, right? Typically 0.5 or half an inch is the standard, right? If I were to measure right here where the crossbar buttons are, that's going to be about 0.71. Okay, so not bad at all. As far as that goes, you have a deep carry pocket clip here. It's not the most deep carry. You'll still have about this much of the knife still showing, which is not bad, right? If you're really looking for the deepest carry possible knife, then this one is not, but I mean, it's still a significant amount of the knife hiding in your pocket, which is not bad. You have one of two options. By the way, the pocket clip is reversible, so my lefties out there, rejoice. And you do have the option of the titanium, 3D titanium printed or milled pocket clip with the Kunwu K right there. Or you could get a wire clip, right? You also get wire clip as well. You also get some additional Omega springs, and you have an additional screw right here. And by the way, the hardware is another place where Kunwu was doing a great job. So I'm gonna get my tools here. They're highly recommended. Check them out, link in the description. And they definitely do a good job here because they are pretty much T8 all around with one exception, right? So body screws, pocket clip screws, right? Pivot screws, that's all gonna be T8. The only exception, and it kind of makes sense, is right here on the crossbar tabs right here. These are going to be T6, and they are pretty narrow right there, so sort of makes sense to do T6 right there. But everywhere else, they do T8. And I feel like Kunwu pretty much understands the EDC knife community and how much we really prefer, right, bigger hardware overall. Something else about the handles I didn't mention is the fact that they are nice and chamfer on the edges, right? Check out how the edge is nice and chamfer all throughout. It doesn't have the line milling that I saw on the Chad. This one's more like a plain B-blasted titanium milling all throughout. You do have a lanyard hole solution here for my lanyard people. Got a big lanyard hole right there. And you have a titanium, matching titanium backspacer, which is also following the same shape of the knife handle as a whole. Something that's also interesting about this knife, you have a curvature right here. Nice curvature to the handle, similar to the Padre, which I haven't gotten a chance to check out here in the channel, but hopefully I will very, very soon. So that means ergonomically, this knife feels really good in the hand, right? Check it out right here. That curvature helps quite a bit. If I do the standard grip, I can do all 4 fingers. And if I do the forward choke, you do have a finger choil right here, which is perfect. Love knives with a good finger choil. You can forward choke on this thing and you can get work done. Kind of wish the jimping was carried all the way forward. So when you do the standard grip, right, that jimping comes handy. But when you do the forward choke, your thumb kind of goes up here, right? That's a little bit farther away from the jimping, so you don't get the jimping there. So maybe take a little bit more of the Devo Growler approach or EMP EDC knives approach and just jimp the whole thing. That would be appreciated. But again, that's just a quick observation, not a deal breaker or anything. But very, very comfortable knife. Super, super comfortable in the hand. The action on this thing, if I haven't said this already, super amazing action. When you deactivate the crossbar, check out the drop shot. Like, this thing is super drop shot as you would expect. I have handled crossbar locks in the past, but I feel like Kunwu is just raising the bar. Their crossbar locks, knives, which is a good chunk of them, feel really good, right? The action on them is solid. Easy to actuate, easy to use for deployment, right? Check it out. And it's pretty rock solid, right? So pretty nice and sturdy, no up and down, side to side play of any kind here. Let's get the stick of truth out here and let's just do a couple, right? The crossbar locks are pretty safe when it comes to this, so we'll do a few. Yeah, that's about enough because this is not my knife. So now I'm gonna take a couple steps back and then just hammer it down as hard as I can. But you know, it kind of you know, makes a point right there, you know. And for what you're gonna be using it on a daily task, on a daily day-to-day use, you're really not going to have any issues or any disengagement issues. This thing is rock solid. The quality control on this thing is good. I think it's no secret. In case you didn't know, Kunwu is a Chinese brand, but not the crappy, cheap Chinese manufacturers. I mean, we're talking about the high quality, really good stuff coming out of China. And this certainly is one of those really good pieces that is manufactured to perfection. Quality control is really good. Nothing is out of place. Everything is right where it needs to be. Great alignment all throughout, right? Even I've been checking the diamond pattern and just flipping it over. The symmetry on this thing is insane, right? The same lines, the same places where the diamonds cut off on one end is an exact mirror copy of where they cut up on the other end. So it's like even that, right? Even that lines up perfectly. You have some milling going on here. You do have some liners on this guy. I believe the diamond scales are swappable with other scales that Kunwu has. And there are some steel liners inside. Also has to do with the crossbar locking mechanism, but that is heavily mill, as you can see, right? Those mill squares inside. So you end up with a knife that is not crazy heavy, but it's also not crazy light either, right? I feel like, in my opinion, this feels like a good weight to a premium knife. So without further ado, yes, you are looking at 4.7 ounces on the overall weight right there. For comparison, something like the Demko AD 20.5 with the titanium comes in at 4.2, but this is also an overall smaller knife, and this one doesn't have steel liners. So not bad, perfect weight if you ask me. So let's talk gripes on the Django for a second. Believe it or not, I have very few gripes, if anything, some nitpicking. So As a whole, obviously knives with crossbar locks are going to be a little bit more challenging to disassemble than other type of knives like a liner lock or a frame lock. But of course, you know, with a little bit of patience and know-how, that's not going to be a big issue for anybody. Just something to be aware of. Other people complain about the diamond design or pattern here and this 3D printed clip causing some fray in your jeans or your pockets. In my personal opinion, I didn't find that to be an issue. Plus, for me, that's a perfect trade-off I'm willing to take anytime for looking at this beautiful diamond pattern on a knife. And so if that's an issue for you, keep in mind that the wire pocket clip is also a good alternative that you could use, especially if you're going to be taking this thing in and out of your pocket constantly. That is certainly a possibility there. And last but not least, the only other thing that I really found that grinded my gears a little bit is the fact that Kunwu does a really good job chamfering all throughout. For whatever reason, this section right here where the lanyard hole is, you know, it's a little sharp, right? This portion right here is a little sharp. This portion right here is a little sharp. I'm not sure why they didn't round that off. And so what that means is that as a right-handed person, when I am putting the knife like this, right, sort of to close the blade, and I do that over and over again, I'm feeling the sharpness of this back end of the handle a little bit on my skin. And it's not an issue once or twice, but it is no secret that I do fidget with my knives, as most people do also. These are not just tools, but in a way, you could argue they are grown-up adult toys of what have you. So yeah, it's a very fidgety knife, so why wouldn't I fidget with it, especially with all the different deployment options that it has. And so yeah, my only gripe there would be that I do feel the sharpness of that corner right there quite a bit. I feel it in my hand. It does, you know, get red a little bit with friction over time. I have noticed that after carrying this guy for about a week or so. That was not the issue with the chat. So is it a deal breaker for me? I mean, it would be a perfect knife, 100 out of 100, if that was rounded off a little bit, just a tad bit, those corners there being a little bit sharp. And if you have a chat and you have experienced that, let me know if that's something you also feel in your hands, or maybe I'm just being a baby and whining. But would that deter me from getting this knife? Honestly, not at all. To tell you the truth, I may or may not, I'm just going to come clean. I did put an order in for a chat of my own. I love the Kunwu chat so much. Obviously, the one I used for my review video and unboxing wasn't mine, so I had to send that one to the next person. But I ended up loving it so much, I got me a chat, and I'm so tempted right now to pick up a Django as well. I also like the Pulsar. Hopefully I can get the Pulsar here sometime to do some content on the Pulsar as well. It goes without saying, well, I will say this. To say that I have been really impressed with Kunwu will be a massive understatement. All the knives that I have checked out of all the different companies or brands that do knives overseas, I feel like Kunwu is right there at the top. They are leading by example, right from the front, really teaching other companies what they need to do, what people love seeing on their knives. Everyone that has Kunwus, from what I've seen, all the comments on the channel, they love them. They praise them as great tools. And man, the quality, the fit and finish, is all here. They really pride themselves with making really good and aesthetically pleasing tools too, because that's part of it too, right? There's a difference between functionality and being all ugly and raggedy looking versus it's functional, right? But it's also a beautiful design, beautiful piece to look at. So let's do a quick cutting test, right? If Kevin's pinky wasn't enough proof, here it is, right? Let's do a couple of cuts with this thing. And yes, you can see that thing is super, super slicey. Let's get some full slice. Boom, see? Yeah, this thing is, again, really, really sharp. Really reminds me of like Spyderco's when they come out of the box with that ghost-like edge. That's how sharp this thing is. Super, super sharp. As long as you get a good initial bite, that thing is gonna cut really, really. As you saw, I didn't even catch a single time. So really, really sharp. Of course, cardboard is gonna be no issue. By the way, that tip is also very pokey, right? Also do some damage in the piercing department. All right, there you go, check it out. And remember, when cutting cardboard, don't cut perpendicular like that, but at an angle, and it will look something like this. I'm gonna go ahead and get my grip right. Boom. Yeah, the only thing that might slow you down is if you sink the corner of the blade into the cardboard. Other than that, it should be a clean slice all the way through. Right, I think that about proves my point. So clearly, right? It is really, really sharp. You guys let me know in the comments on a scale from 1 through 10, how sharp is this guy? Well, there you have it, guys. That is the Kunwu Django, right? Price on this thing is about $229, $239, somewhere around there. If I were to pick one up, which I'm honestly hairs away from just putting my order in, I would get this specific combination right here. Love the diamond titanium, and I love the satin finish. They also have like a stone washed. They also have the new DLC too. So if you want to get DLC on your blade, Kunwu does a really good job on the DLC. Check out Metal Complex's video on the Django. But honestly, I love this knife. Really love this knife. It is exactly what I would love to carry day to day. I would never get bored of this knife. And honestly, it's just a very good, wonderful design. Really love the fit and finish, the quality. Can I really say enough good things about Kunwu? I don't know. This video could be another hour or so long, but let's just wrap it up about right here. Again, this guy will be linked down below if you guys want to check out this knife. Purchase a knife if you end up picking up this knife or any other knife from this video, from the links below. The channel does get a small kickback, and of course, I'll be truly appreciated. It, of course, doesn't cost you anything extra or anything like that. That being said, let me know what I missed about this guy. What else would you want to know, or anything that I missed about the Django? Let's hang out in the comments. Let me know any questions you may have about the knife, anything that I missed, any opportunities that I might have left out there. Let me know. This will be a great time to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. I make content like this on an ongoing basis. I promise you it'll be worth coming back for more. If you want to support the channel a step further, guys, there's a link for Patreon down below in the description, or you can simply support the channel by becoming a member right here on YouTube. If you made it to the end, you guys are the real MVPs. Check out the unboxing on the Demko AD 20.5 on the titanium scales. Another wonderful EDC of mine that I love so much, one of my all-time favorites. You guys are awesome. I love you all. Thank you for all your support, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.